Yeah. Let's go. Hibu Haq, love, truth, salam, peace, huruton, freedom, adil, and justice. Amir Talib, check me out, listen. Yo. Let the spirits guide me safely to my destination. Using respiration deep into my meditation. In times of desperation, I am using evocation. I self-law and master, creating the world that's ever changing. All the races created to force the separation. Discrimination, the basis is made on pigmentation. His education for everyone in the population. Not my occupation.
With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. So, procedurally, in the 1920s, during the time of the Prophet, you would just come down to the Moorish Science Temple of America. You would, proclaim your nationality in the sense of you would just come to the temple, you get a card. You say, you want to be a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and you would go through whatever initiation rite that particular temple had, and then that would be how you proclaim your nationality. And that's the initial process. But during the time of the Dingle brothers, it became more elaborate. And the reason why it became more elaborate is because of what took place. And I hope, because I wanted this to be basics, but this is kind of deep, what I'm talking about. Before it took place, the 1933, the New Deal, which was a legislation that was passed during the time of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And it was a response to the Great Depression. To make a long story short, adhesion contracts were created and Moors was placed under the 14th Amendment through these contracts. Birth certificate, Social Security, etc., etc. So the Moorish Americans in the state of in the state of Maryland, in the city of Baltimore, countered that New Deal through the instruction of Grand Sheik. No, not Grand Sheik Richard to get up. Let's get Sheik John Gibbons up. Where's Sheik John Gibbons up? Let me get a picture of that. I know we got that picture too, but we're gonna get the one that's more familiar with the Moors. That particular picture's the Moor too, but most Moors will recognize this particular photo of Sheik John Gibbons. He instructed Sheik's Grand Sheik Timothy Dingle and Grand Sheik Richardson Dingle.
It's right there underneath the logs, both of them.
Yeah, no, I see this picture right here, but I don't. Where did this come from? Oh, this came from up there. You gotta put that back. Okay, well, we're gonna take this picture real quick. So on the right, you have Grand Sheik Richardson. This is Moorish history right here, Moors. This is Moorish history. You have on I guess that was my right. On the left is Grand Sheik Richardson Dingle, and on the right is Grand Sheik Timothy Dingle. And these are the two brothers referred to by the government as Moses and Aaron.
Islam.
They met with the Pentagon to establish what was known as the Moorish National Bureau of Vital Statistics. And the Moorish National Bureau of Vital Statistics was how we would record ourselves within this government. It was formed in conjunction with the military. You can get more information on this in a book called The Resurrection, written by Timothy Dingle in the year 1978, as well as the book written by Romani Emanuel, known as The Negro, the Black, the Moor. But they created the Moorish, basically, who got a Bible?
Bible?
Yeah, we're gonna go in the book of Nehemiah too. Basically because, okay, Moore's gonna pull it out. So you know what I'm going for, right? Yeah, I think it's verses 1 through 7. So a registry within the United States of America, or a census, or what's the word? Or vital statistics, or what have you. Something to record yourselves, identifying your people. That was established. And it wasn't just established just as a recording, it was established under the laws of the policy of freedom, the laws that freed us during the period of the Civil War, the close of the Civil War. So it was in conjunction with the authority of the Prophet Noble Ali through the incorporation filed in 1928 in the laws that the incorporation of the Moorish Bureau of Vital Statistics was formed, which was backed by the federal government. Islam, bro.
You want me to get to the meat and potatoes or read it out?
Okay, so hold on, let me see. Should I start with Bert? I think we're gonna.
Because this is a setup, and then you're talking about the genius.
You could get to the meat and potatoes. So what he's about to read is in the book of Nehemiah when the Israelites were in Babylonian captivity. Yeah, so because they were in Babylonian captivity, they still had to record their genealogy so they would be identified under the government in which they were in as their political identity. So we're going to read that out the scripture real quick.
Islam. Nehemiah 7, verse 5. And my God put into my heart to gather together the nobles and the rulers and the people, that they might be reckoned by genealogy.
Stop right there.
Islam.
So the nobles, the rulers, and the people, that they were gathered together to be reckoned by genealogy. So what do you mean by reckoned? Recognized under their genealogy. That's why the people were gathered by the Most High, according to the scripture. So that they would not be confused with any other group of people. That they are the people of the Most High, they are this nation of people. And that they will be recorded throughout history as that, so that when their descendants or when any other people want to know who they are, they can look up that genealogy. That a person who they identified as can be traced. Islam, well, I see you got, we're going to follow up with the next comment in a second. Let him just finish this real quick.
Yeah, that was I was going to ask.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. What you want to say?
Is that the first time the register was created in history?
No.
From that point?
No.
This is the first record that you have after captivity dealing with the Israelites.
When you register a people under.
No. All right.
This is not general. This is just within this scripture.
This is within the narrative.
Okay.
So within this narrative, this is the first time that they're actually being recorded after slavery,
Right.
in Babylon. So what I'm about to explain is how they came up with the register. They made sure that they had the nobles. They made sure they had all the people. So this is the first time you see this actually. This is the first time you actually seeing record of these people being recorded through mother and father, through the genealogy. This is coming after Babylon, but it's not the first time in history that people recorded their genealogy. In fact, when you look at the book of Genesis, it's a recording of genealogy through father and father. Islam. Now I'm going to continue reading. This is last sentence of verse 5, Nehemiah 7. Well, Nehemiah 7, verse 5, last sentence.
Nehemiah 7.
Nehemiah 7, verse 5.
7 earlier, right?
Islam. And I found a register of the genealogy of them, which came up the first, and found written therein, these are the children of the province that went up out of the captivity, of those that had been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon had carried away, and came again to Jerusalem and to Judah, every one unto his city. Islam?
So then, just real quick, in verse 7, that's when verse 7 is the actual genealogy itself. Where it says, who came was Zerubbabel, Jeshua, Nehemiah, Azariah, and they start listing the names, and then they go into the names of the children, etc., etc. So, Islam, Sheik, thank you. Oh, yeah, we were in, we're going to continue with what shall we call them, but, so you see it even in the ancient context of a people in captivity, having to record themselves so that they can be classified and identified under their free national name. This is an ancient example of that. And so the Dingle brothers, being the modern day Moses and Aaron, they did the same thing under the instructions of Sheik John Gibbons-El, who was the chauffeur of the prophet and spent arguably the most time around Prophet Noble Jew Ali. So these instructions, in the ancient context, we find them within the Moorish movement. And again, so all of the documents, your birth certificate, your driver's license, etc., come under the authority of the prophet. And now no longer is the assumption going to be made that you're a 14th Amendment citizen. You stating who you are under what laws you're under. 13th Amendment with 20 sections, the executive will of Abraham Lincoln, the proclamations, etc. You're stating which laws identify your citizenship, not the 14th Amendment. And that was the purpose of the Moorish National Bureau of Vital Statistics, and why proclaiming your nationality has now evolved in this modern age. Islam? So I hope that answered the Moor's question. If you got any follow-up questions or any other questions, you just bring it to my attention. Islam? All right, you can continue, Sheik.
It is indeed a hard matter to find something suitable for the various occasions where a title needs to be used.
Wait, stop right there. I'm just going to make one quick comment.
So,
to find an occasion. Let me see that. Point that sentence right there.
It is indeed
Okay. It is indeed a hard matter to find something suitable for the various occasions where a title needs to be used. See, there's a reason why I'm pausing the sheet, because that's a profound sentence. There are times where a proper name is required, where it needs to be used, a title. And as we see, what shall we call him? We don't have a proper title. So when you have to identify yourself here in America by a proper title, or throughout the world, you lack one in a time when you need it.
Islam.
You see, this is why Allah had to send us our prophet, because nobody was coming to educate us on it. There are occasions, various occasions, where a title needs to be used.
To stop and topple the operation of obliteration and subjugation of melanation. The sensation of putting truth into syndication gives me inspiration. Motivation is vindication. Vocab is superb, emphatical. Enslaved mentally, thinking is unilateral. Resistant to the actual, brains are on a sabbatical. Third eye open, spirit traveling astral. We are the jour, the government is de facto. Stick to common law, the law that governs the natural. The circle 7 is ancient Moabite chosen lessons. Learn is my obsession, my spirit is the eternal essence. Knowledge presence can help you understand earth and heaven.